go ahead and get started. This is a regular board meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Anahuac School District. We're going to start with our pledges, and then we'll start with our prayer. So we'll start with the Pledge of the United States. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all your blessings, Lord. We pray for this board meeting tonight, Lord. We thank you for all these students that are here and parents and families. We're so proud of them. We thank you for all that they do. Please give us wisdom as administrators and as board members and guidance. And we pray for the beginning of the year, Lord God. Pray for safety for our kids and for all our teachers and all the other staff at Anahuac ISD. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Okay, so we're going to start with a public hearing on the 2025-2026 proposed budget and tax rate.
Okay, so I passed out to you, if you'll look at the Fund 199, this is going to be our actual budget that we adopt, or that you're going to consider for adoption. If you see, we have, if you look at the 25-26 as compared to the 24-25 original budget, almost every line item is increased, and a lot of that is due to the salary study that we did and the increases that were made for the teacher retention allotment. So you'll see that all throughout the different areas. The only area that came down just a little bit was in Function 36, which is our extracurriculars, and that one is only down by $50,000. But all our increases are mostly due to salary, and our revenues, even though the state, projected that we were getting all this extra money, most of that has been earmarked. It's kind of been in and out, so we really didn't receive a whole lot of extra money. So the income that we're getting is $20,438,000, but our total expenditures, as we're estimating for this next year, are going to be 21. So we're looking at a 1.4 deficit as compared to this year that we're just wrapping up. I think it was predicted that it would be an $800,000 deficit at one point. At first he thought it was a $1.2 million deficit, then it went down to $800,000 deficit. So this number would be the worst case scenario. So we're predicting that maybe by being frugal on any expenses that we make out of this year's or this coming year's budget, we're able to cut that number down just like we did this past year. So worst case scenario, we're looking at a $1.4 million deficit. And some of the reasons behind it, other than the salary study that we did, was also we hired 15 additional new staff members, all the extras that were needed on all the campuses, and then with our maintenance staff. So we've added 15 total. We still have the tennis courts that are going to be refinished. They couldn't get the work done in time to put it on the budget for last year, so we have to wait till September 1st, so we rolled it forward. So it's going to go on this year. The same with the sound system. And then we also have the band is in dire need of new instruments due to the rising number of students wanting to participate. And as you'll see, they're performing very well, and they're drawing people, or they're drawing the kids in. We have to be able to help put instruments in their hands. And unfortunately, the instruments that the parents aren't purchasing are those that are over $5,000. Like their tubas are close to $10,000 each, and they need a couple of those. New drum lines, new sound equipment. So that's going to be another additional $100,000. And then, like I said, the salary study, and then having to maintain this campus now that it's open, it's also added to our maintenance budget. So that's why you see all these increases. Rosie came and met with me today, and she wasn't alarmed. In fact, she said it was fine because our fund balance has grown to the point where if we don't do something to dwindle it down just a little bit, then the state's going to come looking at us because we keep growing it, and our goal is to break even, not make a profit every year. And our fund balance is now at, we could operate probably for about a whole year without having to close our doors without any additional funds. And we're only supposed to keep up to 6 months. So we are well prepared for anything happening, and we'll be okay even if we do have to do a 1.4 deficit. So do you have any questions about this?
Any questions from the board? Any comments from
We're very proud of Tammy. This is a big deal. I mean, this is her first time to do this, and she's doing a great job. We all knew that she's highly intelligent. I mean, she's a math teacher, so she's great with numbers. But this is a big deal, and a lot of it's a moving target. I mean, a lot of it's conjecture. We don't know what interest rates will be. We don't know what the enrollment will be. There's a lot of factors that we don't control. But as she pointed out, because I did go in a couple of times, and kind of just to fill the room a little bit as she and Rosie worked on that, and Rosie, who's did this a long time successfully, and she squeaks when she walks. She was not at all concerned about this deficit because of what Tammy said. I mean, literally, you could operate with a deficit just like this. Not that this district will, because we'll immediately go to work on reducing it. But you could do this for about, I think, Rosie said about 7 years in a row. Not that anybody would do that, but just to let you know, I guess there are some organizations that could be on a financial cliff with, when they say they're running a deficit. Well, this organization is far from that. In fact, it's the wisdom of this board and y'all being so frugal, and Rosie and now Tammy, that this school district is in great financial shape as far as being able to fund the needs of the students. And Kim said something right before the meeting, and Tammy already alluded to it. This is not a for-profit deal. You're not supposed to be adding money to that. What you're supposed to be doing is you're supposed to be, you got these little ones sitting out here, and the revenue that's being raised, because the taxpayers are paying their taxes, they expect that money to go to these little ones. They don't expect these little ones to be graduated, and then 3 years later you say, well, we got, this $3 million line here, let's see what we can do with it, because it doesn't help those children any. So I really appreciate what Tammy's doing. We appreciate all the support that y'all give her and our whole administrative team.
And then if you'll look at the Fund 240, that is our cafeteria fund. That's on the second page that I gave you. That one is, the goal for this one is, this is a food service program that Tiana runs, and our goal is to basically break even, the same as with our 199 budget, but she's predicted to spend about $1.3 million, and her estimated revenue that she's going to bring in is probably going to be close to 1.5. That's provided she doesn't have any equipment failures along the way or some big expense happen. But all of our kids eat free, and so any local money that she gets is if they go to the snack bar or if they buy extra lunches or whatever. The state money that she gets is from food commodities, and then the food program is basically run by the federal government. And then 599, this is our bond fund, and so we're predicted to bring in $4.7 million, and then we're just going to turn around and pay that on our bond debt. So this is our INS amounts that you're seeing there.
We mentioned enrollment. The enrollment is almost to the child the exact same as it was last year this time of year. I do believe it's 1541, I think. Does that sound right? 42?
Yes.
And, students are not money, but there is a business side to a district, and I think you're looking at, for round numbers, you look at roughly 10,000 per student, although some students, generate more revenue than others. And, potentially we'll still add students during the course of the year. Now, if the interest rates do drop, which we're talking about doing that, then you'll see some homes. Right now, I haven't seen any homes being framed up, but I think they're poised and ready to frame up some more and sell some more homes. if the interest rates will, Mr. Banker, if the interest rates will get better, right? Is that kind of how that works?
Exactly how.
Yes, sir. And so she's giving you conservative figures, or trying to, because it is a crystal ball situation, but she's trying to give you conservative figures. That's without any enrollment growth. And you may recall that poor Matt, he had his hands full last year because he was trying to figure it. It's a very, very difficult thing. At one point, we thought it might be $1.5 million deficit. Then finally, I think he settled on about 800. It ended up being about a $350,000 deficit now with the smoke is clear. My bad. Okay.
And some of that is too is because of the money that we have our fund balance in. It is also drawing interest, and those rates are higher right now. And so we're getting almost $1 million this past year in interest revenue that helped to offset any deficits that we had. So that's on the.
All right. So this is not something we vote on. We just move on to the next topic, which is student recognition.
Mr. President, I do believe we have some special guests here tonight. I don't know if Mr. Contreras and Mr. Keir, is this y'all's part of the show here?
Can I talk about the band?
Well, sure. Please do, Linda.
Introduce them, then they can introduce their kids. So
Yes, ma'am.
the middle school band last year, for remember those of you who went to University of Houston and watched their performance, once we were able to find where they were performing, it was very hard to find the building they were performing, and we went in and heard their performance. It was wonderful. Mr. Contreras came to me and said, hey, we're going to send these performances off, these recordings off, and see if we can make this national selection. He said, we're just going to send them. It's just going to be. And I said, yeah, just go for it. Well, they chose 12 bands out of the nation of all sizes, not just, 2A would get selected and 5A would get selected, but 12 out of the nation, and Anahuac Middle School Band was one of the 12, competing against all sizes, so that's awesome. I think that they were selected, and I said, of course you were selected. You didn't think you would even do it, but yeah. So it just keeps getting better and better, and keep meeting all those standards of the kids. They practice so hard, and I go in the classroom, and it's just, there's not a missed moment where they're not doing what they need to be doing to get there. And I'm just so proud of y'all. But all three of you, y'all are a team. But can you say some more about that? Because the trip is where? Indianapolis. So yeah.
She already basically said it. We send in. It's not like a 3-round system like the other competition. They didn't tell us how many bands, but again, bands from like the Houston area, Katy, Cypress, Fairbanks, Leander, any of the Dallas suburbs, the ones that have all of the resources to have really, really good band programs. We went up against those size bands across the entire nation. And what she said, only 12 bands were selected. And my friend, he went through the entire list, and he realized that we were the only small school, school our size that got picked for this recognition. So it's not a competition. We didn't win it. We won our opportunity to perform at this very, very prestigious event. So there's that one. And then talk about the other one. There was a second competition.
You talk about it.
There was a second competition. I'm so sorry. So we've won this competition in the past. We've only won the concert portion twice. Our school hasn't ever. There's a march portion where you play a march and all that stuff, and then there's also a concert portion of this contest. And we've never won the march. That was my goal. I've never won the march before, so for me, I wanted to win the march. But they ended up winning the march. This is against schools our size across the state, and so the kids won the march portion, and they also won the concert portion. So never been done before by our school, so they did really, really good. Honors band last year, come on.
I just figure out how to get them all together, but
Yeah. Maybe the front row kneeling down or something.
Can I get my tall people in the very, very back, please? 2 rows. You and not you. 5 rows.
I'm in the back.
That way. Logan, please get down. Jed, switch.
Thank you, please.
No, Johnny, Jade, switch.
Oh, we don't.
Yes, we do. Yes, I will be next week. Oh, wait, listen.
They're as big as we are.
Young lady in the purple, we can't see you. Good job. Wait till they say y'all can go. Wait till they say.
Yes, sir. So obviously with that success leads to a lot of pressure for myself because Mr. Contreras now has the expectation that when those students come up to high school, they not only have the same experience but continue that experience. And so last year, being my first year, just trying to figure out head above water, figure all the things out about leading a program for the first time and doing all that stuff well. We competed well and did all of that. We went to the same recording venue with the high school students. They performed at the same concert together. And so we used the same recordings for the competitions as well. And they advanced also to the Outstanding Performance Series contest that Mr. Contreras referenced. And they had 2 concert pieces that advanced to the state final. So let's give them a round of applause for that. And so like we talked about, those are the pieces that compete against each other. So they won that region round, went to the area round, won 2 out of the 3 area placements that you could win for that, and then went on to the state round for that. And then also the middle school was not eligible for this contest this year because they won it last year, so you have to wait a year. But we were able to compete in what's called the honor band process, which a lot of you are probably familiar with. And so the high school band and their recordings made the state finals for the first time in 3A, and the last time they did was when back in 2016, I believe, where they placed 12th, and before that the highest placement they received was 6th as a 2A school. And so for the first time in school history, the highest placement that the high school wind ensemble placed was 5th in the overall TMEA honor band process. So give them a round of applause. So come on up and get recognized with your picture.
So these guys, I want to just say a little something. These guys have worked all summer in the heat, and every evening they have some kind of rehearsal.
Yes.
And I haven't heard any of them complain about it. And I don't know if you've heard our band lately, but they are pretty phenomenal. And not all of y'all were together at convocation. It wasn't the whole band, or was it the whole band?
It was.
It was the whole band. So Mr. Salazar, assistant principal, is coming from a 6A school district, and he said they sound better and louder than his band at the other school. So that's incredible. Guys, y'all are hard workers, and it is showing and paying off. Good job.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
In the last group. And while Mr. Contreras is getting us set up, both programs are still in the running for the Foundation of Music Education Award. That's a citation of excellence, and we should hear back from that within the next couple of weeks whether we're awarded those awards or not.
Ready? Thank you all.
Who's the next contestant? Do we have, Kim, do the other principals, they don't have any students, just staff?
No more students that I know of, just staff.
Okay, just staff.
I will go first. How y'all doing this evening? Look, this is the hardest part of my job, talking in front of people. I hate it. I hate it. But so far, this school year, unless I'm naive, I think it's off to a really good start. And I have my teammates to thank for that. So, I'll start with Miss Burns. Cause you know, curriculum and education, that's what our students are here for. Miss Burns, she got all our curriculum stuff together this summer. She had our teachers come up for training so that they can look over the curriculum and start their planning process. And it takes a big deal of work to do that, and she took time out of her summer to come up and do that, and I really appreciate that. The teachers appreciate that. Again, when I came in, it's like, oh my gosh, what all do I have to do? And I didn't really have to know it all, because my people, they knew what I needed to get done, and they made sure it happened. So Ms. Burns, thank you for all that you did to get us ready. Ms. Jordan, our master schedule, I hear it's a pretty tough task, but when I got here, it was already done. I mean, she had to plug in some holes here and there, you know, once we got started to see where everything was, but she took time to make sure that was ready to go. And again, she scheduled our paras where they were supposed to be. So Ms. Jordan, I appreciate you getting that ready for us. Thank you. All right, Ms. Rich. Ms. Rich, when we were getting ready for meet the teacher and all those things, like all the forms that we needed, all the documentation that we needed to give out to the parents so that they can have that. Ms. Rich, she was very instrumental in getting all of that stuff taken care of. I tell, you know, I told everybody that I'm not creative at all, but this is one of my creative people on the campus. So, Ms. Rich, thank you for all you did to get us going. Miss Richards, I'm a little upset with her right now. Maybe a lot of upset with her, but she got us together before she decided to change spots on us. But she got everything ordered for us that we needed. Again, she just did it, and I was like, oh, we needed that? Okay. So thank you for all you did to get us up and going. Miss Allwell, little country right here. Car rider tag, she went and plugged in and found all the students and got all of that stuff together. You know, she got some help a couple of days, but she got it all done so that when, you know, our parents showed up, they were able to get all of that. So thank you, Miss Allwell, and just thank you all for all y'all do every day and all y'all did to get us ready to start a good school year. Thank y'all.
Squeeze in there with you.
I'm not short. Okay. This is short. Okay.
Excellent job, especially with mine.
Well, we feel like we're off to a great start also over at the elementary. And I wanted to recognize tonight some of the faces behind everything that goes on there. They don't always get the recognition, but they're always the first ones to step up to help. You'll see them at Meet the Teacher, working tables. Anytime we need something, we go to them and ask. They're always willing to help. So, English Henneke, she's our 504 coordinator. She also teaches dyslexia. She's also picked up this year because we had a need some resource classes. Melissa Deppy, she's our RTI reading interventionist. And Callie Yarbrough, she's our math RTI interventionist. So these are true leaders for our campus. They are always ready to step in wherever they're needed, supporting our teachers, answering questions for parents, and lending me their help without hesitation. Much of what they do happens quietly behind the scenes without any recognition. These ladies are priceless treasure for AES, not only to the students that they serve, but to the teachers and staff who count on them every day. Thank you for all you do. Your dedication makes AES a better place for all of us.
Pictures.
Thank you. I'm back. So we have a team that leads our PBIS, Positive Behavior Supports, and these 5 people have put in a lot of work over the past couple of years, and this is a task that can be challenging because you are really trying to focus on those things that build kids up and not always just hammering on the negative, but trying to put behaviors and expectations across the campus and catch kids doing what's right. And so these people, I'll call your names in a minute. These put their heads together and met during the summer, trying to say, how are we gonna focus this year? Or, what kind of things are kids gonna want to do? What things are we looking for to try to build the campus as a community to look for those things. So they put a lot of time and effort into this positive behavior supports. Ms. Halsey, Ms. Black, and Ms. Carter, would you come up? And then we have Coach Niles and Coach Cox that couldn't be here tonight. Come on up. And we appreciate everything that you do. Because we have a system of an app that's called Live School. So when you catch a kid doing something right, like, I'm always taking notes. So like, you met your AR goals, we're gonna give you points. No tardies, you're gonna get points. Perfect attendance, you're gonna get points. Helping somebody out, you're gonna get points. Self-control, points. Being kind, you're gonna get points. Honest, if you did something wrong, you're honest, give you some points for that. Now, you're gonna have a consequence for that other, but we'll give you some points for being honest. It's trying to build a culture of doing what's right. And so when you accumulate so many points, you get to cash those in for something. Maybe it's a popcorn party during homeroom at the end of 6 weeks. Maybe it's a popsicle. Maybe it's a crop farm that you want for your crops. Just something to have them working towards those small goals.
Thank you.
So we're off to a start also, a good start. But as you all are aware, there's been a lot of new things, new people at the high school in the office. And there's a lot to get ready for the new school year. We have graduation requirements that we have to look at, dual credit, and then just getting the new school year up and going for our kiddos. And then there have been two people very instrumental in making this year happen so smoothly as it has. Ms. Janice and Ms. Majors, if y'all come up. Ms. Janice has helped me and Ms. Daigle meet with pretty much every individual child to make sure that they're getting what they need for their CTE pathway and graduation requirements. She gave up her off time to do this with our kiddos, and I'm just so appreciative of you and everything that you do. If you want to know somebody who loves our kids, it's her. Absolutely. And then Ms. Majors, well, basically, you know, she runs the campus, right? That's the role. The campus principal secretary runs the campus. And I don't know what we would do without you, Ms. Majors. Today she was out for an appointment, and I'm telling you, it wasn't the same. So much so, your card is different because I don't know where the cards are. You didn't give me one for you. But Ms. Majors, I know. But Ms. Majors has been our guiding light. She tells us how things have worked in the past, and then whenever we bounce ideas off of her, well, could it work better this way? She'll say, maybe, or think about this. She just is, thank you. I don't even have words. Thank you.
Okay, is that all the recognition? All right. Y'all are free to go, so to speak, if you want to go. That's just fine. So thank y'all for coming. We appreciate y'all. Anyone else I'd like to say for the rest of the meeting, that's fine too. You're excited. So we have no public comments. So that will take us to, I'm going to kind of bear with me for a moment here. I'm going to kind of move around just a little bit. I'm going to move to discussion item at the very end to Senate Bill 413, recording of meetings, and I understand you're going to explain that to us. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. So basically, I think we just need an audio recording of meetings starting September 1st. So this is kind of a test to see if what I've set up will work. And it's only audio. This webcam is just because it has a better microphone than this one on this Chromebook, and we may end up having to go to a better one. That's why we're testing to see what we need to get to have clear audio, so people that want to listen can listen and actually hear what's going on. But so we're just kind of playing instead of there's an image on like a recording, but it's just like a static image that tells people what the meeting, the date and stuff. So when they're watching it, even though it's just audio, they could tell which one they're watching. And then when we go into executive session, we'll kill the audio because we don't even want to record the general public for that however long that is, and it'll change and show a new graphic so they know that's why there's no audio. We just turned it off, and then when y'all come back, we'll just click a button and it'll come back on and go back to normal. So that's pretty much it. Just kind of testing it out today. It's not really required, but I wanted to see how it went and get ready for the mandatory recording that we need to do.
Okay. Well, thank you. Any questions about that from the board?
Do we get to vote on who has to sit by it?
Well, it's never about you.
It's looking like me.
So hear you clearly. So,
Very nice.
It could be like that on the show.
And so the two Stacy's, it may not pick them up. I don't know.
Mr. President, I was thinking if the graphic ever goes down, if we could just turn the camera on Mikey and just
Perfect.
have
There
it
you go.
Mikey during the meeting.
Yeah.
That would be perfect.
That'd be great.
All right.
Everybody else see him do this the whole time.
And while we're there, they've discussed the possible band trips, and so they discussed that actually during the recognition. Okay, so that's going to move us now to monthly reports. I'm going to move down to bond update because we have Holly with us. And so Holly, if you can go ahead and go, please.
I don't really have a lot to say, but I didn't want you to forget who I was. But we're wrapping things up. They've got the commissioning about completed here at this building, and I think the middle school has the concessions that it's set for the park. has arrived, so we've got them set up. I think mid-September was the first action, is that what you said? So we've got them all ready for all the activity over there. I was brought out this last week to take a look at the gate next to the middle school that had a run-in with a bus or vice versa. And we're looking at getting that fixed right away. And we got an estimate from Duratec to do that work. Their fencing guy and the gate guy that did the operations center fencing is going to repair that gate. And our estimate was about $20,000 to get that gate fixed. We don't have an exact number. I just asked them for a ballpark. And so,
Holly, we're going from a swinging gate, the only swinging gate in the district, which was actually swinging into traffic, to a slider like all the rest.
Correct. I was just getting there. So
Sorry.
now we're going to have a sliding gate that will function well for a long, long time. And it costs a little more than replacing it with a swing gate, but I think that was is probably the right decision. So that will never be an issue, because we had thought about swinging it the other direction, but if you ever had traffic coming from the other way, it'd be the same song, second verse. So we'll get firm numbers for that if that's where y'all want to go. There's plenty of money left in the elementary, middle school, and high school renovation budget to cover that repair, and so we can take care of that and not have y'all have to work up over any.
Holly, this may not be the time to mention it, but that box, we need to make sure that doesn't disappear, because it's probably a high-dollar item.
Right.
And I don't know what we're gonna do with it, but we just need to make sure it doesn't disappear or end up at somebody's ranch or something, because if
Right.
anything, if we liquidate it, it needs to be, the money goes back to the
Correct.
school or whatever. I don't know what we
Right.
do. Stacy, you may have some idea of somewhere, other
We
place we
can-
could use it or something, I don't know.
And if you want them to salvage the gate, they're not going to reuse it, obviously. Then
We
you
could
get-
give it to the ag department, let them straighten it out, and of course Tammy would have to make sure it's legal, but maybe we could let them straighten it, and we could find a legally way to sell it or whatever.
Or they could repurpose this metal or whatever.
Yeah.
Recycle it. So we have that in the works. The other thing is, I got a call concerning the admin building. It is still the only building that doesn't have a secure entry, and so I was looking at some options for us to be able to provide that security for that building, and that could be easily part of the bond, because the security measures were part of the bond. And so we're looking at creating a vestibule in the front, and we're just beginning on that process, so I can come back next month with some visuals so you can see what it is that we're looking at. We're just starting to look at options on creating that vestibule, which will fix things in the short term. Long term, there was some discussion of maybe moving admin over to unused portion of the elementary school, and we're looking at that, and what other options might be in the district, and nothing is settled yet. And so those options I can bring next month as well. It's going to be long-term stuff, because it's probably going to be pretty pricey to do, but it would be something that we can start a discussion about of what the future is going to look for Anahuac. One of my concerns at the elementary school, moving them over there, is those spaces will need to be elementary school spaces at some point in the not too distant future, so we hate to mess them up too much, and then have to move everybody again. But we're looking at it, and it might be, there is a great place for an entrance for admin over there, and it could work out really well if, depending on what the long-term goal is. So we can bring all those options, either to a workshop or back to the board meeting, whatever we all decide to do, just let me know. So that's what we've been working on.
Ice machine.
Oh, the ice machine in the operations center is loud and is disruptive during training, I understand. So we're looking at finding a quieter one, or they also make one that has the condenser that's on the top, which is where the noise comes from, that's remote, and you can put it on the roof. And so we're looking at options. I really don't want to put a penetration through the roof if we don't have to, but we'll find a solution and fix that. and then we'll find a new home for the one that's there. So we have a spot in the admin building that might work. So anyway, so that's all I have. But I guess I'll come back next week, next month. I mean, if y'all are ready for me, just let me know, or if we want to do a workshop and go through all the ifs, ands, and buts.
And her sidekick, Jerry, very quickly suggested that we consider one of these ding doorbells on the front of the admin building, so we did that. It's been kind of a running joke. Bought the best one that Home Depot had, the $229, you know, the one that's got a battery in it, not the one you wire. And it's been a little bit difficult. I've never messed with one of those, and I haven't messed with this one, but everybody else almost at this table has had to jack with it, try to make it work with some assistance from maintenance. But anyway, right now, you can't, generally speaking, you can't just walk into the admin. That was a great suggestion by Jerry, that we do that, because the door's locked right now while she's running the traps, and we can come back to recommendations, or she can. And we did have a good meeting, you know, so we're exchanging a lot of ideas, trying to do some homework so that your job won't be quite as hard when it comes time for the decision making.
Yeah, and we can come with facts next time, and then y'all can just
Well,
decide
we
which way
appreciate you
want.
allowing us to kind of bounce all kinds of different ideas and how you think out of the box, but not just that, but keeping like the the integrity of the buildings in terms of the facades and things like that. So thank you for taking that into consideration.
My pleasure. All right, well, thanks again. I guess I get to come back again.
Yeah, all right. Thank you
All right,
again.
thank you.
Be careful.
All right.
I gotta tell y'all real quick, when she was at that meeting, we all thought that she had a bruise on her face. She had chocolate on her face. She didn't realize it till she got out to the car, and she said, "Dadgummit, they could have told me I had chocolate on my
I was
face."
talking to my daughter on the phone, and I was putting lipstick on, and I went, "Oh my God!" I ate a. To be honest, it wasn't a candy bar; it was a protein bar.
I thought you just stole one of Cody's Reese's.
Yeah.
Glad you're okay. The candy wiped off.
Thank you, Holly.
All righty. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the top of monthly reports, and item A, superintendent's report.
Thanks, Mr. President. So, you know, y'all are always commending employees and students, and I wanted to commend y'all, you know, as an interim, someone who's here temporarily, although I'm sure for y'all it's starting to seem like an eternity or whatever. But, you know, it's pretty cool to see y'all so enthusiastically recognizing staff members, because that takes, you know, that takes some time at the beginning of each meeting. And the value of that is so obvious, because like when Rebecca was talking about the ladies and how much she appreciated them, and it's precisely why she appreciated them, we learn, and you learn, specific things that you would not know otherwise. Mm-hmm. So it's really a good investment in time, and it's a good show of respect for your teachers and your employees rather, and your students. And not all districts do that, because it is a big time commitment for y'all. And I'm not going to give this to you now, because I learned that trick a long time ago as a teacher. You don't do the handouts, because then when you have more stuff to say, the folks are rifling through it. But this is really cool. I want to brag on Nikki Schneider, who's our PIMS lady. Last year was a fiasco, right, guys? When you went to take the picture, you stood in line for like 45 minutes or something crazy, right, Tiana? Tiana, we got a new cell phone rule. You're not supposed to be have your cell phone all the time. No, I know you're busy. Trust me.
It's outside of the instructional thing.
Yeah. Hey, Tiana, but we had to wait a long time to get these pictures last year, right? Remember that? So anyway, this year, Nikki did a great job of making sure those people brought, what was it, 2 or 3 photographers this time? 2.
2 in total, they were on the chopping block.
Yeah, she told them, yeah. So let me tell you, they were doing a good job this year. But these pictures are beautiful. Their cameras, I don't know if this, let me see this. Yeah. The quality of these pictures is wonderful. And I want you to have one of these, because really, it can be argued, obviously the students are the most important thing, but as far as y'all are concerned, and even us administrators are concerned, the only way we really get to impact the students positively is through these people. And so this may be the most important document that I could ever hand to you, is the pictures of these people that are serving our students. And I know y'all love them so much, and because of the way you treat them. And so I want to give you that in just a second. I'm gonna talk about 2 or 3 things, and then Daniel's gonna do the superintendent's report. He's gonna talk about some really technical things. I did wanna say, I think everybody enjoyed that TSL training with Morgan. And one of the things y'all busted me on, thank goodness, rightly so.
Tell what TSL is.
Okay, it's Texas Strategic Leadership Initiative that we're doing. And Daniel is going to give a comprehensive report. Dr. Redmond wants us to be sure that every month we give a meaningful and not just a check-the-box report on TSL. He sees it, as we all do, he sees it as a means of us adding some much-needed structure and discipline and intentionality, if that's even a word, where we're very intentional about improving. And we need some systems, and we're bringing in other systems as well, but that's kind of the biggest one that we're bringing in. And so when we had that training with Morgan, one of the things that came up was the steering committee and the fact that Cody, I don't have any explanation for this, did not put lead teachers on the steering committee. And it was in the interest of, it's not a good excuse, but it was in the interest of, making it something to where, it was streamlined and wasn't too intrusive and interrupting everything. But in all honesty, my very first impulse when we started talking about it, and Daniel and I talked about it, I'm sure, was to get the ownership of the teachers. So Mikey and others pointed out, hey, it's kind of hard to do that when they're not on it. So thank y'all so much for caring enough to challenge us, and y'all were absolutely right. So we have, we asked the principals to each give us 3 lead teachers, and I probably said this to more than one principal, and I was thinking it, I don't remember if I said it or not, but yeah, I want somebody who's an outstanding teacher and effective in the classroom, but it also needs to be a positive and charismatic person as well, because we really, we need to all get behind this. We need to be pulling together, right? And so Daniel will probably share the names. I think I texted those to you earlier, Daniel. Yes, sir. The names of those 12 teachers, and because they're outstanding teachers. So he's going to give you detail on TSL and do us a full report on that. In the meantime, on my little goal report, I did want to say that as we've discussed, we have asked the principals, and they're on board, and I've asked Tammy to make sure she puts the money in the budget, which she's on board and she has done it. Attendance, Rosie was, working with Tammy today, and she mentioned to me, Cody, if you want to affect this deficit, you can improve the attendance in this district. And I said, well, it was actually pretty decent last year at 95%. She said, yeah, but it needs to be 96 point something. And I said, no, you're right. But honestly, relative to some districts, 95 is not bad. You know what I'm saying? It's just good, and it needs to be better. And so y'all may recall that we brought in Rhonda Smith, and we visited with her, with the counselors about improving the attendance. And of course, the main reason you're improving attendance is for the well-being of the child, academically and socially and emotionally. This is the safest, best place they could be, And so then you also, it's a financial thing as well. So anyway, we're going to work on that. And I guess what I was trying to say is Tammy is going to pay for these principals to go back to attendance incentives. Now, some of them were already kind of doing that, but they were probably doing it on the cheap a little bit more than they wanted to. And so Tammy, she's not going to let me down, I know, even though she's talking about the deficit stuff. She's going to make sure she funds that real well. So that's going to be big. The second thing, and we could talk about a lot of things, but the second thing I wanted to mention was with accelerated reader. We've all been there. We've all seen people set goals too high. We've all seen it used in an abusive, oppressive way. No one on our team wants to ever see it used that way. And these principals are on guard if you ever have kind of a rogue teacher who goes off and starts setting these unreasonable goals and hitting the kids over the head with accelerated reader. That's not what we want to do. We have, the bank has raised $30-some-odd thousand to help us purchase books. We want to push independent reading. We want to push literacy across the district. So once again, these principals are going to revive, just like in the good old days when there was and they're already they've been doing a lot of this. Let me tell you something. I was kind of selling them short. I think I had told y'all flat out that I was a little bit disappointed, and I probably didn't use the word disappointed, but that I really wanted to see it blow up more with the excitement and everything behind it, but that I understood it was the first year we were bringing it back, so it was okay. But really, when I sat down with Dana and others and found out what they did to incentivize accelerated reading this year, they actually did a lot more than even I knew. So they're doing some great things, but they're doing it with limited resources. So once again, Tammy's going to help them with that. And you know, part of this is putting pressure on them and their parents. You know, competition is great. Like this morning, I get on my little bicycle in my little driveway, headed over to the bus barn. It's pitch black, and those children, I can see them in the foyer is lit up over there at the middle school. And I'm assuming, I don't know, Lena, they're volleyball girls. I don't know, couldn't tell if they're boys or girls. I just saw these bodies moving in that foyer, and I was like, wow. And it's 6 a.m., and those parents are dropping those kids off. Why are they doing that? They're doing that because isn't it a beautiful thing for them to be involved in competition and to work. You know, it's not even, work is not bad when you're doing something you're passionate about and when you are working as a team to achieve a goal. And so we need to continue to have that spirit in our academics, you know, continue to be competitive. You know, technically we're not competing with these chambers, but dadgummit, let's pretend we are. It's fun. And if we have some scores that are higher than theirs, you know, here and there, then we offer to help them. We visit with them. If they have scores that are higher than we do, we ask them, hey, can we come visit you? That's what Dana was talking about doing, going over to visit East Chambers because some of their scores are really good. And they've worked really hard, just as our teachers have. But anyway, just kind of wanted to talk about that, and also to mention the third thing, and this is the last thing I'll talk about, is the after-school programs and some of the passion coming back to that, because there was a time when the buses, the tutorial buses, some people call them tutorial buses, but anyway, tutorial buses were a lot more full than they are now. And our after-school programs were a lot more robust. And so what the principals and I have talked about, and this applies largely to Erica, Dana, and Lena, much more so than it does with Rebecca's crew, because that's kind of a different type of tutorial usually with them. You know, that's where you have the algebra teacher who just has the heart of gold, and she stays after and works with her algebra students, et cetera, et cetera. I'm talking about the kind when you may be tutoring kids that at Lena's campus, in theory, might not even be your student during the day, you know, and you're making a wage. I think it's $35 an hour because, you know, last time I checked, Mikey, when they ask y'all to work over out there at the plant, you don't say, well, I love this place so much I'm going to do it for free, right? I mean, we're all trying to make a living here and feed our families, and so we appreciate the fact that y'all compensate our teachers for extra work, you know, when it makes sense. But they all understand they're salaried employees, the teachers are. That, you know, they're not looking like unionized, like they want to get paid for every second, but, you know, fair is fair, and so we appreciate the fact that y'all appropriate that. So I've probably rambled enough about those things, but to me, the thing that those three things have in common is just to fight and to compete and to bring that energy back in. And we're trying to do, Tammy has stepped up, as business manager and said, yes, I will provide funding for that. So we're excited about that. Sorry,
yeah. I mean, and it really is a lot of the things that we have been talking about for a while, they do fall right in line with those things. I mean, you know, it's one of those things we've been talking about TSL for so long now. It's nice to actually be doing something with it. And so we did have that first meeting. We had it right here, and Morgan came over from Region 5 and Katie. So they got to use the projector and everything. So that was nice. Of course, they just raved on how nice this building was. So the people that made up that initial meeting were our campus administrators, and also we had Mrs. Burns here, we had Ms. Trotter, Ms. Cunningham, basically our district leadership team, and then the teachers that will be joining us here in a couple of weeks for our next meeting. At the primary, Mrs. Nelson, Hargis, and Brent. The elementary, the ones that were here getting recognized, Henneke, Yarborough, and Deppie. And then at the middle school, another getting recognized, Halsey, Brandon, and Page. And then at the high school, Mrs. Vaughn, Mrs. Janice, and Mrs. Lewis. So, you know, those are some solid names that you hear a lot of, tenured, experienced teachers. And so that's what the principals were looking for, you know, tenured and lots of different experiences. And so we'll be jumping back into that in a couple of weeks. Right now what we are doing is we are collecting blank assignments from each grade level, are reading, language arts, and math, and we will submit those to our Region 5 team, and they will begin to evaluate those, and evaluate them versus the teats and what we're supposed to be teaching and when, to make sure the pacing, the scope and sequence, and all of that is aligned, to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing to help our kids, be where they need to be. So that's a great first step. And so they call those our artifacts. And so the next step will be digging in a little bit more. And so that's where we are right now on that. And again, in a couple of weeks, we'll have another steering committee with everybody, the committee and then the teachers coming in to join us. We also have something else we've been talking about. Mr. Wink, John Wink, is going to be joining us on the 4th, so that's next week. He's going to be here all day, meeting with our district administrative team, going through his trainings on digging in down, not just to the teats, but like to the different standards, those readiness supporting standards, so that we can really drill down to make sure that we are maximizing and emphasizing what we need to in the classrooms. And also shout out to the Education Foundation for that, because they are the ones that we are partnering with to bring in Mr. Wink, and so we're very thankful for them and what they're doing.
That's $10,000.
Yeah, it's a substantial amount of money, and we got a little bit of a plan. We've already talked about maybe next year, if they're fortunate enough to get another donation, looking at ways to beef up our PLCs, and so these things are kind of lining up. Another thing we've got coming is, I think it's on Wednesday, yeah, the 27th, we have our training for our initial NWEA MAP growth testing. All of the teachers that are going to be leading out on that will be trained, and then our first testing window for that starts in mid-September, so we'll be able to start getting a lot of active and up-to-date data. So again, we know exactly where we need to be reaching out to help our kids. And so that's mid to late September there. Another thing that I was thinking about, as Tammy was going through the update, of course, anytime you see a deficit budget, we're all thinking, okay, what can we do? Well, one thing that I met with Mrs. Cunningham today, she's our new Director of Federal and Special Programs, is we are being a lot more active in seeking out grants. One grant that it's through Region 5, but it's also part of the LASSO grant. There's been 3 or 4 cycles of that, which kind of combines curriculum and just overall leadership, but it's dealing with a robust mentorship program, which this can also lead to a grow your own type program, and so that grant is going to be due, I believe, December 1st, but Ms. Cunningham is really digging into that. And when we were looking at that position going through the spring, with Ms. Bertrand retiring, and it's one of those things, we tried to evaluate the position to see, okay, is there any way that we can maybe serve our staff and students better? Well, taking some of the testing responsibilities off of that position, our goal is for Ms. Cunningham to help us with those grants, both federal and state. So she's already really digging in, because there's a lot of money out there, but it's really meticulous. You got to know where to look, and you got to know exactly the right forms, and so she's really digging into that for us. I think that's about all my throat can handle.
Okay. All right, any questions from the board for Superintendent's report? Any more comments? Okay, thank you.
So if I may, Mr. President, I'll go ahead and.
Oh, you're gonna pass it down there?
Now that, I didn't want to do it while Dan was talking either, because it was like, okay, if you don't want to do it while you're talking, don't do it while Dan.
I will say, Doc, that with those grants, I do know it'd been nice having somebody who's watching that, because you got to follow those to a T, and if you don't do the steps exactly right, there'll potential for them to want their money back, and you got to honor the way these grants are structured. I mean, that's.
You know how those feds work.
Yeah.
It's short windows that even apply.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, good point. Okay, report on district enrollment. I guess y'all kind of already mentioned that, I think. Yeah, that's right. I guess it's through from this. Okay, and then we have principal monthly reports. Anything to add to those, or you'll have it in there? Okay. Thank you. And now, back to you, Tammy, with our financial reports.
On this page that I handed you where we've highlighted, this is your budget that was adopted last year. And if you look in the very first column, or actually it's the third column on here, it talks about the revised budget for 24-25. If you see, last year your revenue was predicted to come in at 17.9 million. Well, what we actually received was 18.3. So, and then the expenditures were 8.9, and so the predicted deficit at that point looked to be almost $1 million. But we were able to, if you look in the second column, or beside that, you see that the revenue jumped up to 18.3, and then the expenditures have only been at 18.7. So the total deficit for this year that we're about to close up is looking at between 300,000 to 500,000. That's because we have some encumbered amounts here that we need to make sure they've either already been paid and just weren't closed out properly, or that they still need to get paid, and so we'll have to clear those out. But the ones that we highlighted are areas where there wasn't enough money allocated to that particular function, and so we need to make some transfers to be able to clean those budgets up completely, and that was in instructional leadership, health services, that's our nurse, student transportation, our extracurricular, general administration, and then in maintenance. Those areas were a little bit short, and so we need to just do some budget transfers. And that's what, when y'all look at making the motion, what we're doing is just, there's still money in there from the budget, but we just need to take them out of some of the funds that they were allocated to and put them into these that were short. And then on the next page is 240, this is Tiana's food service budget. We need to increase the expense amount, and because she had very few bills left to pay, and so this one does have a deficit balance. So last year she spent more than she actually collected by about almost $70,000. But from previous years she had built up a fund balance that she's able to do that without actually digging into our 199 budget. She still has it, and we need to just go ahead and clear up her budget to make her starting at zero as well for this next year. And then on the next page is our 599 budget. This is our debt service. The amount that was predicted that we would collect was 4.7 million, but we actually collected 5.1, and so we just need to increase the revenue that was collected to reflect that amount. That is it.
Okay. All right. No other updates for that line item. Okay. We talked about bond updates. We'll now move on to action items. Item A, consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Second. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Against say nay. Motion carries. Item B, consider final 2024-2025 amended budget. Any more to comment on that? I know you talked about the budget a couple times now.
No, sir. I mean, that was the one that we talked about here, just approving those transfers.
Okay.
I'll move to approve the final 2024-2025 amended budget.
Okay, we have a first.
I'll second.
Okay, any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Against say nay. Motion carries. Item C, consider adopting 2025-2026 budget. Any further to add to that?
If you don't have any questions before you.
We talked about it.
I'll move to adopt the 2025 to 2026 budget as presented.
Okay. First, we have a second from Stacy Meadows. Thank you. Any further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Against, say nay. Okay, motion carries. Item B, consider and approve to accept the certified and supplemental appraisal rolls for tax year 2025 for the Anahuac ISD.
That is in your packet. It's on page 35 and then on page 40. And the difference is our official appraisal values were the 945 million, but because of the homestead exemptions being raised and then the amount being raised for senior citizens, the actual certified values that are going to come in is the 873. And that was just due to legislature that took effect September 1.
I'll move to accept the certified and supplemental appraisal roll for tax year 2025 for the Anahuac Independent School District.
Have a second from Melinda, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Against, say nay. Motion carries. Item E, consider and approve to accept the no new revenue tax rate and voter approval tax rate for tax year 2025 for Anahuac ISD.
And that is on the tax calculation page, is page 47, and it's basically just our taxes are going to stay the same. We're not raising taxes for the district. Everything will stay as it was last year, according to our KC prediction. So we're going to keep the M&O at the 0.6769, and then our INS is going to stay at 0.5.
Okay.
I'll move to accept the no new revenue tax rate and voter approval tax rate for tax year 2025 for the Anahuac Independent School District.
I'll second.
Okay, the first and a second. Any questions or further comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against, say nay. Motion carries. Item F, consider resolution to adopt local tax rate.
Basically what you're doing is you're going to adopt that rate for our budget.
I'll move to approve the resolution to set tax rate on $100 valuation at 1.1769, 0.6769 for the purpose of maintenance and operation, M&O, and 0.500 for the purpose of interest and sinking, INS funding to service bonded debt. This year's proposed tax rate does not exceed the new revenue tax rate.
Okay, thank you, Carlton. Thank you, Stacey Davis. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against, say nay. Motion carries. Item G, consider CASB delegate assembly delegate and alternate. So this is our CASB kind of a mid-year meeting. I'm not quite sure. I think you went last year, right, Melinda? In San Antonio. It is in Houston this year. It's on Saturday, the 13th. Any interest? Gator Fest weekend.
So Houston, can I bring a hand in? That was a joke, sorry. Oh, yeah, I can't record this. Thank goodness this is just a trial run.
No, but your voice, it's so nice to hear you.
Melanie, do you have any comments about what you did last year or thoughts? Or?
It was just like the one we do with classes, leadership we do in the summer, the constant classes, and kind of get caught up. I did it 2 years ago too, which was after legislative session, so it was starting to be clear as mud is what they were doing.
Yeah, that's probably right.
And implementing. So.
Yeah, that's probably right. They've got a little time to process now.
Yeah.
Cabinet Sam, she's not.
We could nominate
That's good, that's good.
We're not gonna do that.
You don't have to go.
Right, it's risky.
I'll go. Who's gonna be my alternate?
This Stacy.
So, this Stacy.
Yeah, I just know I'm gonna be super busy that weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna be out of the country actually, so.
Yeah, you're the one who's ahead of them.
You're going to
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I'll make a motion that, I'll move to nominate Stacy Metters as delegate and member,
I can be the alternate, I don't mind.
Melinda Trainer as alternate at the TASB delegate.
All right. Thank you all. So we have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, say nay. All right, thank you all for stepping up. It's pretty convenient that it's in Houston, so
And
not far.
since you were stuck in that one meeting the whole time, I saw you'll get to be back around.
Well,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get to get
Cause he didn't get to go out with us.
you went to the new
either.
member stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good point. And she does bring up a good point that, they will have more legislative understanding, maybe, would you say?
Maybe.
Maybe.
There's mine.
All right, item H, consider purchase of a 2026 Thomas Safety Liner C2 school bus.
We, didn't purchase a bus last year and, because there wasn't really any readily available by the time we put one in. It would be this time of the year before we got it, so we just waited and did one for this year. We are with one out of commission right now, and then another one had something else happen to it. We're actually we're having to have a charter bus for the game that goes to Hitchcock. So we really need another bus in our fleet.
Do you know what the oldest bus in the fleet is?
I think it's
I would say-
2000
I would say-
plus one.
Huh?
I think it's plus one.
I don't know, I thought it was a bus I drove probably. Anyway, it's definitely 90s, something from the 90s.
We don't really have those on route necessarily.
Well, I'm just curious, cause, I'm all for us getting the bus, cause getting kids to school is how we get them educated. But there's a program that the state does, and you can, I think last round it had to be a 2007 or older bus, so if we have anything older than that, it might.
I think we have two that could fit that. We just have to have something to replace it with before we can demolish it.
Okay.
But I think that's part of the program.
Give and
Get
take.
the bus, and then, once you get the bus, then you scrap the old bus, or at least that's how the
But I
program I
don't
did
think
was.
it's like dollar for dollar. I think you get it.
You get a pretty good.
You build up to where the deal gets sweet enough to pull the trigger. Eventually you get the.
Oh, yeah.
Different thing, the one's the release of the country on that, and the other one's.
Yeah, we have that, that one's a 7. We have $80-some thousand and that one's just sitting.
You have to have the full amount before you can purchase the bus, and you take that.
You can't use part of it.
Yeah, and the TCEQ, we may not have one that meets their criteria just yet.
It's really.
But just something to forward out, just another way to get us to keep it.
Well, I'll move to approve the purchase of a 2026 Thomas Safety Liner C2 school bus in the amount of not to exceed $154,000 with funding from general operating.
Okay, we have a first.
I'll second.
We have a second from Melinda. Any further discussion about the bus? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Against, say nay. Motion carries.
Mr. President, may I say something real quick?
Yes.
This was just, I found this interesting, and I don't remember if it was Willis who told me this, or Tammy, or who it was, but, 154,000, it's like, whoa, that's way bigger than we've ever seen on a school bus. We're not surprised, because that's what everything is turning into. But it was explained to me that the reason that one's so expensive is they're now putting a third air conditioner in the center of that thing, so the bus can actually cool in the hottest of hot. Even though the thermometer doesn't look like it's hotter, it feels hotter or something. I don't know if it's the humidity or what, or maybe we're getting older. But anyway, so then if you have one of the AC units go down, you still have two pulling it. And I think we talked about this. by far at this point, the most labor intensive, whatever, hardest thing about running a fleet of buses is those air conditioners. Because they're not really all that well designed. They really, I mean, they work pretty good when they're working, but they're not really all that, what do you call it? Were they dependable and reliable, you know, over after a couple of years. So anyway, just thought that was interesting. The other thing is that, you know, Willis and I, we both agree that if we could find good, clean, relatively low mileage buses, especially now that he has an inside guy he was sharing with me today out on the bus lane, that, and I don't remember who it was that came out yesterday, but like Cy-Fair, I think he was saying, is selling lots of buses. And now, because I guess Willis was inquisitive and talked to this guy, I can't take any of the credit for it, he's got an inside line where he can call this guy, and then they can call the mechanics over there, and they can say, tell us about bus 83. What's the deal on it? Is that a good bus? They're like, no, stay away from that thing. That thing eats turbos. We never have been able to figure out why that thing, you know, or they may say, oh, that's a pretty solid bus. You know, that would be a good one. Because, man, you can buy these things for pennies on the dollar if, you know, if, in some instances, and if you have an inside, line on it, so you know you're not buying a pig in a poke or whatever, that might be a little strategy. Now that they're $154,000, it might be, because you can buy a pretty clean bus for $25,000 or even less. So we may experiment around with it just a little bit, not at a large enough scope to where it's like, oh my gosh, Cody, what did y'all do? Y'all spent all this money and these buses are all laying down on us. It wouldn't be anything like that, but maybe just experiment around with one or two and see if that might be moving forward. That might be a good strategy to use in this small district where you could still kind of put the buses with more mileage on your shorter routes and stuff.
The in-towns.
Yeah. Because the old bus I drive, I don't ever get, literally, I don't think I ever get over like 25 miles an hour because I'm just in town just riding around. So it doesn't take really all that strong of a bus to do that. And it's safe. The brakes and everything are safe on it. So just not going to win any beauty awards or anything.
All right. We have item I, consider revisions to EFB local instructional resources library materials.
Mr. Kim, can you speak, would you speak to this, please?
Yeah, we had Tasby look at it and we had Corey look at it as well. Some of these things already existed in our current policy, but this has to do with that, procedural notes at Senate Bill 13 and parents' rights to challenge. One of the choices we were allowed to make was whether we wanted to have a school library advisory council, and we decided not to because it would be better for us that Cody can select the teachers that actually have that kind of knowledge, and that's basically the big choice.
If you want to go full bore on this, you could turn it into something that could become really controversial and you could lose control of it. And we'd rather control it, you know.
Kim, is this something we take a vote on? Do we vote on this, or is it?
No, I didn't put you in action. Yes, you did.
Okay, that's what, I noticed I didn't have an action, but we can make an action.
Yes, make an action
So
to
does it
approve the
need?
revisions.
Okay, so we just need a
Sorry about
motion to approve, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the revisions to EFB local in order to stay in compliance with Senate Bill 13. And we will select the superintendent to delegate a advisory committee.
Okay. That'll work. All right. Do you have a second? Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any other further discussion? Okay. Seeing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Against say nay. Okay. Motion carries. We've done both discussion items, so that takes us to closed session at 7:24. And this is a discussion evaluation of personnel, Texas Government Code 551.074. Consultation with board attorney regarding all matters as authorized by law, Texas Government Code section 551.071. Thank you all. And we're live. Okay, we're gonna come out of closed session.
At 9:12.
9:12, all right, thank you. And so we need to, consider additional personnel positions. Do I have a motion, please?
I move to add an educational aid position at the primary school.
Okay, so we have the first from Michael.
Second.
We have a second from Stacy Davis. No, sorry. You know, I didn't look, and I thought I. Oh, man. I was a no-look Stacy, but that's what happens.
We don't
when
need
you
to sit
don't.
by each other.
That's very true. I was just, we have a first from Michael and a second from Stacy. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, we have a Michael. Okay, and now Stacy Davis. Okay. Okay, meeting adjourned.
It's not. Thank y'all so much for all you do.
Thank you, sir.
And that's at 9:15.
Somebody else cleaned everything up.
That's 7:24, whatever we went into